Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jason Avant, and this is the Q&A show, Q&A podcast on Inside the Birds platform, YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Amazon Music. I'm here with my main man, co-host of the Q&A show, my main man, Quintin Mikell. Quintin, say what up to the people.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back. Blessed to be back. Excited for another installment of the show, and can't wait to get started, man. Got a lot to get into, so let's have some fun, man.
A lot to get into, but before we get into it, we'll do a little house cleaning. Thank you all for making the Q&A show a success. Thank you guys for tuning in each and every week. Those that leave comments in the email insidethebirds@gmail.com. Again, insidethebirds@gmail.com. Everyone that hits us up with questions on social media, thank you guys for supporting us. To Adam and Jeff and to Hunter and Josh and everyone that's responsible at Inside the Birds. We really do appreciate everyone. To all of our sponsors, DraftKings and Manscaped and many others that are responsible for this show. Thank you guys a bunch. Q, let's get into this loss. Let's get into it. There's a bunch. Very hard fought game. Don't think it was a matter of effort. Don't think that it was a matter of will and want to. Lack of execution and not taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented in front of you. 27-24 loss to the Chargers. Overall assessment of the loss. Is this a bad loss, tough loss? Can you find positives in this loss, Q?
So to me, this one is a tough loss. I think there are definitely some positives that came from the game. I think we ran the ball well. I think a couple of 4th and 1 or 4th and short stands were huge. But ultimately, this game, to me, it comes down to two things: is coaching and execution, especially on the defense. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But to me, I think this was a tough loss because this was definitely a winnable game. This is definitely a game that comes down to 2 or 3 plays here and there on both sides of the ball and on special teams. And it's really frustrating because getting a team that's kind of on the rise like the Chargers at home, an opportunity to send them home with a loss is it's a lost opportunity, and something that I think if they win that game, I think that the Eagles really start to kind of get that identity and start to build off of it. And so now with the loss, it's kind of like, well, not going all the way back to square one, but it kind of feels like it was just right there. And now you feel like you did all that work, and they did all that work, and then it didn't come out victorious. So it does kind of feel like you're back to square one a little bit. What are your thoughts, man?
I don't know if it's a bad loss or a tough loss. I know that it's a tough loss. But a tough loss is, to me, is this happens to our team. Yeah. We haven't figured out a way to win tight games, right? We've dominated Atlanta. We dominated Detroit. We dominated Carolina. Any of the games that were moderately close, we've lost them all. Yeah. So it's kind of hard for me to put my mind and say, hey, this is a tough loss when this team just doesn't know how to win, right? Yeah. If the team had winning pedigree and they fought this hard, I would be like, hey, man, this is a tough loss. To me, this is what our team has shown us over the past 8 games, 7 games, 9 games, whatever it's been. So did I want the team to win this game? Did I feel like they fought hard enough, but they didn't execute well enough to win the game? So I can't say it's a tough loss because it wasn't like there was some supernatural play that decided the outcome of the game.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's a tough loss to me. It's like when both teams are giving their all, both teams are executing at a high level, and then there was this miraculous play that happened, and that determines if it was a tough loss or not. That's you know what I mean? David Tyree with the helmet catch, or Santonio Holmes with the drag toe. Like, you lose a game like that, that's a tough loss, because you're like, man, we did everything that we could, we still couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
but we're leaving too many plays and having too many bonehead plays and just miss assignments and just mindless things that make this a characteristic of a bad team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. So that's where I am with that. Now, let's keep moving forward. Gannon played more cover one. Debatable, depending on what we consider, but he blitzed a bunch more. We do know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Blitzed a bunch more. 30%, the most he's ever blitzed this year. Still didn't sniff the quarterback. One time we sniffed him. Right? Was it Barnett that got a sack? Lucky sack there.
Yeah.
I think he had 3 pressures the entire game.
Yeah.
No. That was wrong. We had 8 pressures. Yeah, 8 pressures. And 3 by Barnett, 1 by Josh Sweat. It wasn't many. It was 7 or 8 pressures the entire game. But anyhow.
Yeah, no sacks.
We'll
I don't think we had any sacks, right?
I think Barnett got 1.
Oh, maybe. Let's see.
Yeah. But anyhow, he increased the blitzing, played more cover one. Is it the personnel or is it the coaching?
It's a little bit of both. So I was at the game, and to me, so I was watching. I did see a little bit more blitzing, but coupled with blitzing, so now we're getting more. Now we're starting to add guys to the rush. Okay, so now that's another part of it. Okay, now the second part of that is understanding in the secondary that the ball's got to come out fast, otherwise it's going to be a sack, right? So that means, again, you can't sit back at 6 yards, and if you do sit back at 6 yards, you got to start sitting on routes or taking some chances. So we're halfway there in terms of adding more pressure. I don't particularly like some of the pressures that he used. I don't think that they were long term. I don't think they're effective, especially against a quarterback as sharp as Herbert's been so early in his career. But I do think that if you're going to start adding pressure now, the secondary, now it's on them to start understanding that the ball's going to come out fast. No more bailing on routes, no more worried about getting beat deep. And the coverage has got to be tighter. I mean, that's the reason why you want pressure. I don't care if you have to get in and press and bump and run. I don't care if you have to play off and sit on routes. However you do it, you got to understand and trust that with the pressure is going to get there, the ball is going to come out fast. And to me, that was the biggest story watching it live, is that the ball is getting out fast. Herbert was throwing 5-yard out routes, 10-yard out routes, speed outs, and we just could never really affect him. And to me, the way that you do that on a quarterback that's getting the ball out so fast is you're going to have to take some chances and jump some routes. So I think it's a little bit of both. I do think that changing the coverages up is still the way to go. Now the second part of it, when we're adding pressure, is secondary's got to understand that the ball's coming out fast, and you guys got to sit on some routes or take some chances, jump a few routes, make that quarterback uncomfortable, make him pull the ball down and give the blitzer that extra half a second to get there, and maybe possibly get a sack or create some kind of pressure. So I think it's slowly getting there, not fast enough, but that it was extremely frustrating to watch that live.
Q, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Blitzing is not the solution only. You have to understand why you're blitzing. You got to understand what's the goal, what you're trying to accomplish, and the coverage has to match the pressure that's coming up front.
Yes.
Right? If you're blitzing people, you're saying that we're trying to get the ball out quick. So therefore, let's get on our man and disrupt the timing. That's the purpose.
Yep.
Especially if you're in man-to-man. If you're in man-to-man, first third down of the game, it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. Steve Nelson is 10 yards off the receiver. 10 yards off. It's 3rd and 6. You're in man-to-man. You're in off man. Darius Slay's sticking them straight up. Vontae Maddox is halfway in between. We get 3 different versions of man across the board on one play. Nobody's in unison at all. We get one dude that's willing to get in somebody's face, and Darius Slay. We get Devontae Maddox, who wants to get close enough to him, but still don't want to really touch him. And then we got Steve Nelson playing in the back of the other end zone while the guy runs a stop route. The 4th receiver. What do you need to be 10 yards off of the 4th receiver for?
Oh my God. I don't know.
See, like that's the stuff that's mindless to me right there. That right there is mindless because it's 3rd and 6. The ball is coming out quick, and most good DBs are playing the chances of it being 3rd and 6 and them running to the sticks.
Yeah. Especially
couple that with a pressure, couple that with it being a 4th receiver. I ain't going no damn where. The 6 yards, I'm staying right there. You run by me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Make me a believer. They threw one pass the entire game that was over 20 yards.
Unreal.
One completion over 20 yards.
That's crazy.
The one that was a great throw to Mike Williams on Darius Slay. That was it. Some of them went more than 20 yards with catching runs, but none of them went over that. So they dink and dunking you all day. Mm-hmm. Sit on that crap. Yeah. Come on.
Can't play scared, man. Now, it's funny, you know, we had a defensive coordinator that was coaching a little bit scared to call blitzes. And now he is calling the blitzes and the pressures. And now we got secondary players that are scared to get in someone's face, like you're saying. And, you know, it's got to, at some point, something's got to give, right? At some point. I don't know if it's film study. I don't know. It seems to me, and I hate to, you know, I'm not in the building, so I don't want to, you know, put this on anybody's, put this on anybody, but it just feels like the film study, like there's no film study, there's no meeting together, understanding where each other's going to be. I mean, I've seen so many blown coverages. I've seen so many guys, you know, not where they're supposed to be. It just really feels like no one's on the same page in the secondary.
It's disjointed.
Yes,
that's what it is, right? It's disjointed. Like, and this goes back to me is not, this is players, but going back to the coaching aspect, I think that you made a great point. When you've been calling a vanilla game plan and the guys have been custom of getting, you know, told, okay, this is a good job, you're doing it, you know, you're catching the ball in front, guys you got rally to the tackle, we're not giving up the big play, that's what we want. Now you switch it over and you don't make the emphasis that the mindset and the mentality has to change.
Mm-hmm.
It don't match.
Yeah.
Aggression, when you're in man-to-man, you got to be aggressive. You cannot let people throw the same punch at you over and over again. You can't catch people all the time. You have to disrupt the timing. So what that means is that most receivers, and this is good for our fans to know, once a receiver gets touched, a lot of time most receivers panic and rush the route. Most receivers, I would tell you that 90% of the receivers in NFL, once they get touched before the timing that they were anticipating, they end up rushing the route and they'll give it away to you before. They'll start panicking. The route was in 5 steps, it's at 3 steps now. And they'll start panicking, you right in your hand. Cue my line.
Nope. You're 100%.
Because it takes patience. It takes a veteran, savvy receiver to get touched and continue on this path. But most guys don't have that patience. So if you hit the guy first, you're going to speed him up and throw off the timing. But if you sit back and just wait and let him just be comfortable, he's going to give you the whole kitchen sink because you haven't threatened him at all.
Yeah.
I'm sitting up and I'm like, you sticking Keenan Allen. Everybody knows that Keenan Allen is going to shake somebody's face off. So why would I let him continue to do all of that stuttering up to me? No, go touch him.
Yes.
Guys like that, if you touch them, it messes up everything because they got a game plan. And if you let them get to the top, you are screwed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then to add to that, you know, a lot of times for the fans, and I know that may not know, is the reason why receivers rush their route, because they know that the quarterback only got a few seconds to get that ball off, especially with pressure. And then the second, if the quarterback looks your way and the DB's on you, got hands on you, he's looking somewhere else. So in the receiver that wants that ball, they're gonna rush the route most of the time. Very few, Tom Brady's of the world, very few quarterbacks are patient enough to let a receiver get into his route after being jammed. And so, just to add that to it. And
quarterback, go to the next person. You're getting touched. The quarterback go to the next person.
Yeah. And this was a perfect opportunity against a young quarterback to start to kind of build this bully a little bit on the defense and, add some confidence, but it just fell through, man. It's frustrating.
D-line, Q, non-existent this game. I wouldn't say 7 or 8 pressures or something along those lines. I think the Pro Football Focus or I was looking at that earlier today. It wasn't many pressures. I want to say it was between 7 and 8 pressures the entire game by our D-line. Derek Barnett got home once, 32 for 38, pitching, catching, routes on air. That's what when you
real. That's what 707.
It was 707 is more competitive than that. Q. That was a little bit of catch there right there. That was a windy routes on there right there. Routes on there, we may miss 1 out of 50.
For real. It was crazy. So what I did notice live, the Eagles defense. First of all, I got to add now. It was a clinic. I mean, I think we'll get into this later. I think both offenses put on clinics in terms of what they decided to come in, their game planning, and how they attacked. And what I noticed during the game, I feel like who is I know Brad, is it Bradley, the head coach for the Chargers? I forget his name. Staley. I don't know if he's calling the offense. I know they had Steichen was there. Anyway, long story short,
defense,
the offensive coordinator, whoever was calling the plays for the offense, had the Eagles defense teed up. Like he knew exactly what to do. Got the ball out quick. Every time Sweat came in the game, it was either a misdirection or a run right at him. So when you got a speed rusher like that, that's what you do. You neutralize him by slowing them down, making them think. They're running screens to his side. They're running right at him, getting, tight ends all in his face. Misdirection with Barnett. I mean, there was a couple of plays where Barnett, I felt like he was completely lost. They were just taking our defensive ends out of the game. Our tackles, they neutralize our tackles for the most part, because you can now, when you're running the ball at the defensive ends, you're slowing those guys down. Now you can double team inside, and so
0 pressures from Hargrave and Fletch. Nothing. They're out there. They did nothing.
Now I will say though, they did play well against the run. They did stop the run. I don't think that the Chargers' run game was stellar. I know that Eckler's been injured. But I think the game plan for the Chargers, their offense was it was like a clinic out there, the way they were attacking the Eagles defense. And this is what happens when you are so predictable each and every game, each and every down, teams can dial you up like that. And so this is what happens. And so that's why I think the pressure, we didn't have much pressure, is because right now, without our blitz schemes, we're only getting pressure with our defensive ends. And you can neutralize our defensive ends by specifically running at them and slow them down, making them think. And so, I don't know. It's extremely frustrating. It's frustrating all around, man, because there's so much potential on this defense, and they're not playing up to it. They're not being coached up to their potential. And it's a sad thing to see, man.
It is. We lack discipline. We lack discipline, and not only on Derek Barnett's, bonehead penalty in a crucial situation of the game, again. But like you said, when I see a reverse or some type of boot, if it's to him, it's 5 yards. Herbert threw a pass that he could have ran for. That's how wide open it was. At the end of the game, On the first down, they had a fake run right, boot left. And it was 3 people over. It was the tight end in front of him. It was a running back, and it was him. And I'm like, dude, you might as well. It may have been the first down that they got, but I'm just saying it was like he didn't have to throw the ball. He could have just ran.
He could just ran.
That's how bad the defensive end Derek Barnett looked on that play. He was all on the other side of the field. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, the OC Joe Lombardi, that's the offensive coordinator. So my bad. So he had us dialed up. But that's exactly it, man. Let's just discipline. It's film study, discipline, and understanding the impact of understanding where you need to be and doing your job.
Yeah.
Do your job on your play, on each play.
I'm tired of this though, because this is why I'm tired of it. Q. We got the AFC Player of the Week probably is Justin Herbert. Like, how many times? Like, how do you pass for 90% in the NFL? He out there like a hot Steph Curry. He just scored 50 on us. Goodness.
I don't know if
in
I've
the
ever
NFL.
seen...
This is not the NFL. This is college. This is high school.
Yeah.
32 for 38, 2 touchdowns. I was counting when I was watching the film. When I rewatched it, I'm like, man, he missed 3 passes the whole first half. Oh, in the second half, he missed a few at the end. Like, it was just weird. I was like, and then when you look at the stat lines, 10 for 10 on the linebackers, 5 for 7 against Slay, 100% against everybody else. I'm like,
you gotta get better, man.
Man, we need to do something better. He was like 0 for 1 on Rodney. Rodney's like, yeah.
Man, y'all leave Rod alone, man.
No, I'm saying, man. At least nobody caught a pass on him.
Oh man, yeah,
So he played well. He played really well, and I just
gotta get better, man.
Yeah, we gotta get better.
It's just
gotta get better. Yeah.
So we weren't supposed to go all the way in on the defense like that from the start, but it was hard. It's hard to watch, man. All right.
It's a defensive line play. Then like points at the corners. You know what I mean? So
say what?
No, go ahead.
All right. So let's try to change the topic real quick. You know what? Before we go to the next topic, let me do my read.
All right, sweet.
Then we'll start talking about the offense because I know you got a lot to say. I know you're ready. All right, here we go. Football fans, who's ready to score more? Who's ready to score some more free bets? Now you can when you bet on any NFL game this week with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers who bet just $1 on either team to score can win $100 in free bets. When a team scores, you score. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get skin in the game with the new same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code ITB. Bet $1 on either team to score and win $100 in free bets. If they score, you score with the promo code ITB. This week with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and older, Pennsylvania only, new customers only. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Get us right in there, DraftKings.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad I didn't go for the game last week. Oh, God. I was definitely picking the Eagles to win at home. They got to get a home win eventually.
We got to. That's crazy.
Years.
I didn't realize that until I think I was reading. I think I saw a news clip. I didn't realize that we hadn't won a game at home yet. I
No,
thought for
we're
some
like
reason
3
we
for
had.
8 in the last like 11 or something like that. It's
Yeah, we
crazy.
gotta change that, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. All right, let's get right into the Eagles offense.
Okay.
What did you make of Sirianni showing mostly shotgun offense for the first 2 series, right? Before going under center. And he used a lot of 13 personnel, a lot of one receiver for most of the game. It was really weird.
Yeah.
It was effective running the football though. What'd you think of all of
that? I personally loved it. I mean, when the first 2 drives, I'm like, oh man, here we go again. We pass, and then I don't know, something just clicked and they hit a groove and they just started running the ball, started pounding the football, and you could physically see the entire offense start to pick itself up. You could see after they started moving the ball, and you got Jordan Howard, running downhill. You got the zone reads. You got all these different ways that they're attacking in the run game, and you start to see the entire defense of the Chargers wearing down. And then that's when I knew, I'm like, all right, this is going to be a game now, because they were on the ropes. I mean, the Eagles were gashing them. And you started to see the Chargers getting up slower after each play, and you start seeing the Eagles offensive line kind of jawing at each other, like getting excited. Like that's what it's about right now. That's what this team needs to be about, is coming off the ball, even if it's got to be 13 personnel, just mauling people.
Yeah,
like that's what this team. I think this offensive line especially, is built to do, and I think it really caters well to Jalen's game, as we've said multiple times. And so, me personally, I liked it. That was exciting for me to see that.
Yeah, I agree with you to some extent. I agree with you to some extent. Now, the first series in particular, we moved the ball. No, was the first series the 3 and out? No, the second series the 3 and out. We're back up, right?
First series, I think we had 9 plays. Second series was 3 and out.
Yeah,
Second series was 3 and out.
So the first series, Jalen Hurts missed like 4 passes in a row. Makeable throws. Dallas Goedert missed 3. He missed Dallas Goedert three straight times. 4, I would say 4 Dallas got covered on 1, but 3 throws. 1, he was lined up. He was against the defensive end on a corner route that, it looks like he's covered. Just throw the ball to the spot where he is. That defensive end that's dropping out in coverage has no idea where the ball is. He's just hoping that the ball is not thrown at him.
Yeah.
Right. So even if it looks like he's in position, he is not in position. That's KYP. That's know your personnel right there.
Absolutely.
A defensive end is dropping out in coverage. Oh boy, I don't care what he's doing. I'm throwing the ball at him, and I'm going. I don't care if it looks like it's going to get picked. It's not. Throw it right to him. You're good. So I think that was a test to see. Okay, do we have a Jalen that's going to be hot tonight, or is it a Jalen that we got to protect tonight? And those first 2 series is like, let's start protecting them.
Yeah.
But I understand the logic. The reason I understand the logic is because Mike Davis, their starting corner, is out. Asante Samuel Jr., the other starting corner, out. They're playing with a 32-year-old Chris Harris that cannot run anymore. You're playing with Tavon Campbell and a couple guys that are undrafted free agents that haven't shown anything in the league. It's not like they've shown some upside. They haven't shown anything. So they're playing with guys that we should be able to pass on.
Yeah.
And when you start missing, it's like, hold on, that looks like an advantage for us, but our biggest advantage may be running the football. And again, you got to remember, the Chargers came into this game last in the NFL in rushing, 5.1 yards a carry. So you have their corners out, and you have the worst rushing defense out there. So it's like a pick your poison. The first 2 series, Jalen Hurts is not hot. We can't do that game plan, even though they got backups out there. Let's go to the one that's 5.1 yards a carry, and let's try to make some hay there. And they found success. So I like the idea of trying to see if it can stick. Let's abort that and let's go with this. So I enjoyed that aspect of him adapting in the game. We've seen all too often them starting with shotgun and staying with shotgun, and it turns into a nightmare. So I'm glad that they finally did something different. And you got the runners for it. When you got Jordan Howard, this is right up his alley. This is a Miles Sanders alley. But for some reason, I don't know if it's because we don't want to pay Miles next year that he doesn't get the reps when he's in there. I don't know what it is. You know, this is me. Maybe I'm conspiracy theorist, but that's what it's looking like to me. Again, like you said, this style of offense, under center, running the football, play action, trying to hit some shots down the field, making less throws but bigger throws. What that means is that I'm not going to be able to throw it 25, 30 times, but hopefully because we're running the ball so effectively, I can get play action passes, which is going to equal those 15, 20, 30-yard chunk plays, which is the same as Justin Herbert's 3 or 4 completions.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what that opens up, and it goes right in line with what the offensive line like to do. You got Landon Dickerson, you got Kelsey, you got Driscoll, you got Lane and Mylott. They want to maul somebody, and you give them a chance to do that, they begin to get energized. Offensive line played really well when it came to run block, and they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
They did well versus Pat. They gave up 11 pressures. Not too much. The only person that got beat was Driscoll, really. So they play well.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like when you're a linebacker and you're always dropping, and then all of a sudden coach calls a blitz, you start to play a little bit better, right? It's a little bit different, but kind of the same when you're on offense. Like you're always pass rushing, you're always pass blocking. Well, this game they got to tee off a little bit. They got to come after the guys, and then all of a sudden their pass blocking got a lot better. All of a sudden that defensive front wore out a little bit. They kind of started getting their gas back in the fourth quarter, but for the most part of the game, like you said, the offensive line for the Eagles, held their own.
Now we're running the ball a bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
This past weekend, 27, 37, 39 rushes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not including any receiver rush play. So 40 rushes the last 2 weeks, right? 46 and 39, 40 plus rushes basically a game. You think we're going to continue to be able to do this?
Yeah.
I think that's the only way we got a chance. Remember, we said right before the season, the only way this team has a chance at being any good is for them to run the ball, and it's not going to be through the air.
Yes, and they have to. And the good thing about that, well, it could be a bad thing, but if they continue to run the ball like this and they continue to be successful or even mediocre, you're going to start seeing those loaded boxes. You're going to start seeing single high. You're going to start giving your one-on-one opportunities outside. By the way, I agree. It's got to be Devontae and Quez outside. I don't know what's going on with Jalen. I mean, he's been absolutely non-existent. And I don't want to pile on the guy. I know he's dealing with a lot right now, but they've got to get more out of receiver position. And if that means moving Quez outside, I mean, has he been outside or has he been mostly in the slot?
Quez's numbers were up this past week. His plays, his reps went up this past game. So, but yes, normally Quez is normally inside, unless they have a specialty play for Devontae or they're doing some type of funky formation. But in normal sorts of situations, it's Jalen and Devontae outside and Quez inside. I think it should be Quez and Devontae as the starters.
Yeah.
Devontae inside and nickel.
Mm-hmm.
And put Quez outside, leave Quez outside. That's what I think should happen. And I think you got to play through. But I see why they're leaving Devontae outside because Jalen Hurts doesn't like to throw the ball inside.
Yeah. Okay.
He doesn't like to throw the ball to the like he's like last in the NFL in passes over the middle.
Very true.
So in a normal offense, Devontae Smith will probably be your nickel, your zebra, your inside receiver on third downs. He can play outside, but on third downs, they'll do with him the same thing that they do with the really good ones. They do this with Justin Jefferson. They do this with Thielen. Sometimes they'll put those guys inside. Devontae Adams. They'll put those guys inside in third down situations where it's going to be a higher chance that they can get the ball over the middle of the field, right? It's more space to work in there sometimes,
Okay.
So are they being used out of position at times? Yeah. But do I think that they can get away with 40 plus rushes a game? Yeah, because not 40 plus, maybe not 40 plus rushes a game, but they can be a high volume run style offense. Just because Jalen adds an extra man in your plus minus against the defense, right? You're going to have to bring a safety down to 10 yards, 9-10 yards of the line of scrimmage in order to kind of stop some of the quarterback runs and stuff like that, which is very, very hard to do. And most defense coordinators don't have the nuts to get that guy that close to the line of scrimmage, So,
and so like, and my thing though is there's just this feeling around Philadelphia that's a bad thing, and like that's to me that's kind of the most frustrating thing is, all right, you have an athletic quarterback. He's got a good arm, not particularly accurate, but he's a good leader. He does everything, says everything. He doesn't get in trouble. Like he's for all intents and purposes, like he's the guy that you would want running your team. And he's still young. He's still learning the game. He's still working through some things. He's still, it's only game. It's what, game 10 for him in the NFL, right?
Yeah. And 11, 12.
It's the frustrating thing is that all of a sudden everyone's ready to just give up and throw away and say he's not the guy. He's not this. He's not that. That there's nothing wrong with a running quarterback, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with running the ball 10, 20, 30 times a game. There's nothing wrong with
what the Ravens do.
Zone read. Yeah. As long as you can be creative and understand what he can and what he can't do, put him in the best positions to make plays, and then get your entire offense, especially your young receivers, get everybody kind of up to speed on the type of scheme that you want to run, and just build everything around. Like with this core group, you can literally build an offense that suits everybody and that can make this team a winning team. You don't have to go back to the drawing board, take a chance on drafting a quarterback in the first round again and basically start the rebuilding process. Like you have everything right now that you can start to build and kind of build a long-term successful team. And so I just don't think it's time to just give up. He's going to have some ups and downs, but there's nothing wrong with building an offensive scheme around a guy with Jalen Hurts' skill set, in my opinion.
In your opinion. And here's the thing.
In my opinion matters.
And here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, and I agree. I don't disagree with you. Here's the problem. We have an ideology in the city of Philadelphia of how things should be run. But here's the biggest problem. There's a clear disagreement within the organization on how they want it done and what they actually have.
Very true. Understood.
So there is someone in the organization, some people in the organization that wants the shotgun, that wants the 3 and 4 receivers, that wants the Kansas City offense with the speed and all of this stuff. And you need a very, very accurate quarterback that can see the defense and read the field and all of this stuff, rather than what you actually have. So we've wasted 7 games, 8 games before we figured out that this is what this guy is good at. when we've been telling you, not just myself, but a lot of people around, guys that know football, have been telling you, hey, this kid is an experiment right now. He's not the most polished thrower. He can throw. He can be accurate, but he's not Aaron Rodgers right now. He is not Russell Wilson right now. So why in the hell does it take you this long to come up with this style of offense, coach, general manager, team, personnel, decision makers? How does it take in NFL? How long does it take you to say, hey, this is the best scenario for this quarterback? I can't imagine us not at least having 4 to 5 wins right now if we just stayed with that game plan alone.
Yes. And that's the frustrating thing.
I'm not saying that we're going to be world beaters. I'm saying that we probably will have 2 more victories under our belt, being in the same offense, understanding all of those things. And guess what? With that style of offense, your defense gets better.
Mm-hmm.
The best defenses in the league usually have running quarterback, run the football type of teams. It just happens that way. I don't know. In the history of the NFL, teams that score a lot of points, defense are usually not that good.
You're right.
Am I lying?
You're right. You're right. Because as soon as you come off the bench and they score, you're like, well, we right back out there.
We're right back out there. Right? Usually teams that run the football and are good at it, that maintain the ball on third down, their defense seems to be a little bit fresher.
Mm-hmm.
They're used to banging with you in practice because that's the type of style that you run.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that this doesn't take rocket science for us to figure this out. It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Is that we got to get rid of the ideology. We got to get rid of our presuppositions. We have to get rid of all the stuff that we think about the way we want it to be run and use it for, see it for what you have. What can I do with what I have? If I have this, the most I can be is a run play action team that can get some wins on the board, make my team appetizing for a potential free agent, rather than when you're looking at the Eagles like, damn, I ain't going there.
That's what happened with Odell, right? He was
Odell,
like, nah.
Deshaun, whoever you want to call it. Like, what? Hey, this is how I run. Man, get your my phone. Stop playing with me. What you talking about? You ain't talking to me. It's like that fine woman you try to talk to. She just give you that, boy, you ain't talking to me.
Like, That's crazy, man.
Oh my gosh. Oh. But to evaluate Jalen Hurts. All right, so this game. 162 yards, 11 for 17, 1 touchdown. Is he playing at a starter's level? No. I would say there are 7 plays off the top of my head that he pulled down and ran when he didn't have to.
Absolutely. Yep.
I would say I stopped counting at about 5, but I remember a few more runs out to the right side. He tends to run out to the right side, and eventually that's going to get old, right? Because the defense is going to start blitzing from this side and make him run the other way, right? So
yeah.
But he ends up escaping to the right side and getting a few yards and stuff like that. When there's a clean pocket. Early in the game, he found Dallas Goedert on one of those freaking Devontae Smith posts. Quez, he had a corner stop. Both of them sitting there wide open, and it's frustrating as a receiver now.
Yeah, yeah.
When you like this receiving core has been maligned. They're not good enough. They're too young. They're inexperienced. Frick, they were open.
Yeah,
this entire game they were open. There's people there's money to be made out there. A lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see it. You can't get to it. It's hard to hard to win games that way. So what do I think about his performance? It was okay. From a quarterbacking perspective, he got to make some throws. You got to make some critical ones. We didn't make critical throws, and critical throws in that tight 3-point game is a big deal.
Yeah, goes a long way.
One or two throws hit Devontae Smith on a corner route when you back.
He threw that so late.
No, it wasn't that it was late. He was backpedaling like there was zero pressure in his face rather than stopping and setting his feet. There was nobody around him. Usually you start drifting back and, to buy the guy time for the corner when it's like a zero pressure and you need to create more time because you don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't understand that footwork. No one teaches you that footwork unless there's like some zero pressure, and only a few people can do it. Only Mahomes can do it. Only Aaron Rodgers can do it. It's not many other people that can do that.
No.
But there's no pressure around you. You back up 10 yards and throw the ball to Devontae Smith on the left side when you can literally take your normal drop, plant your feet, and drive it and score a touchdown because there's no pressure on you. Like, I'm not saying I make all of this stuff sound very, very easy. What I'm saying is I don't understand half the time what's being taught or what's going on.
The weird thing too, the weird thing about all of this is he hasn't been sacked a whole lot.
No, he gets out of it.
And so a lot of times when you see young quarterbacks doing that, you think they're shell shocked. They've been hit a lot. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been hit a whole lot. He's just antsy. Like he's just ready to get out of the pocket as soon as he sees something. Yeah. And you're spot on that. Like he was backpedaling.
I understand why the fans are saying, he's not the guy and he's not a starter at this point. I can honestly say that right now, based on the NFL.
Fair enough.
Am I saying that he can't develop? Am I saying that we should panic and we need to draft another quarterback? I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is that he's not making the requisite throws in order to win football games in the National Football League consistently. And he's missing too many open players and missing too many reads when guys are open and leaving the pocket too quick. He is.
Yeah.
It has to improve. Now, you taking the ball out of his hands is a good thing. Yeah. And relying on the run game that's your best chance of winning. I said it at the beginning of the year. You said at the beginning of the year it's the best chance of winning.
Yep.
And do you think Nick Sirianni's playing to hire the quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. but that's and again, that's not a bad thing. That's good coach. In my opinion, that's good coaching.
Yeah.
I had to say this. I was at the game and it was obnoxious. We were down in section 138 and the entire time fans were, run the ball, Nick, run the ball. And so I took my son in the bathroom and my wife was sitting there and she said, when I came back, Nick came over to the bench and he was talking to one of the players and the guy behind us was like, Nick, run the ball, Nick, run the ball. And Nick looks up at the guy and he's like, I am running the ball. Like, what do you mean? And I'm sitting there. I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a coach actually look into the stands and start talking back to the fans. But it was obnoxious. And I'm like, man, they were running the ball. So I'm just saying he's trying, like this game plan that he came up with, or the adjustments or whatever he did. I thought he did a good job. And you call it how the quarterback, you call it whatever you want. I think he did a good job adjusting or changing his game plan up to doing what is going to work. So yeah, I give him my hats off for him for this game.
You got to. There was nothing. There was guys open. Mm-hmm. The offensive line protected long enough. They mauled people in the run game. Jordan Howard played well. Boston Scott played well. Kenny Gainwell got a touchdown. Didn't run the ball particularly well, but he got a touchdown, right? Jalen Hurts ran the ball pretty well. Like, you did everything that you could to try to manufacture offense.
Yep.
And you did it to the strengths of your team. That's the only thing you can ask for. Nobody's going out of this game saying, oh, Nick Sirianni's a bad coach for this game. Actually, this is one of the better coach games that you've had all year.
Yeah. Yeah. Besides, I think this game and the Falcons game were his two best games.
Yeah,
I thought he called a good game. I agree.
Yeah, so I think so. The Devontae Smith 116 played well. He should have played well, and everybody hear me out because I'm not hating on him. I think that he's a very, very talented young player. Definitely was a first round pick. You had to pick him where you picked him, right? But he has to ball out in this game. You're playing with your third and fourth best corner on a first round pick. You should ball out. And this one is not really, like I said, Chris Harris can't run anymore.
Yeah,
he just can't. And you got guys I don't even know their names playing. I wish all the receivers would have balled out.
Yeah.
So I was excited about the effort that he showed on the touchdown and to plays that he made, getting open consistently. But you should get open in this game. You should have a big game versus the fourth and fifth corners on a bad Chargers defense this year. Like you should.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'll take it.
That's
I'll take it. Because if you went out there and stunk up the joint, then then we be talking about a completely different thing, right? So
exactly. If he stunk that one up versus that secondary, we would have been like, there's some trouble. There's some trouble. What they say is trouble. Support for the Q&A show is brought to you by Manscaped, the champion of below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. And they just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard it right, 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code QA at manscaped.com. Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. I've tried the 4.0 and I'm blown away with the craftsmanship and details are second level. Nobody wants to get hurt down there. You know what I mean. So Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th generation trimmer has a cutting edge ceramic blade that reduces those accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. You got to be comfortable down there. This upgraded trimmer also has a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock and has a 4000K LED spotlight that can turn on and off for more precision on your shave. The new lawnmower even allows you to customize your trim with guard length sizes 1 through 4. How about wireless charging? Their new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction to help the battery last longer. Men, you can't use the same trimmer on your nuts and face. Nobody needs pubes in their mouth. Get your own ball, hair, and body trimmer with Manscaped. Make me time the best time like Jason Avant always does. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code QA at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. Again, get 20% off and free shipping with code QA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code QA. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. And your balls will thank you.
That's always the bright part of the day. All right, so let's get back into it, man. Listen, let's talk about who are the Eagles, right? So the Eagles they're at Denver this week. The Saints at home, at the Giants, at the Jets. All right, so we got them before the bye week. Mm-hmm. So over that next 4 game stretch, what do you think is a reasonable expectation for those games?
Oh, all right. Reasonable?
Yeah.
Reasonable expectation is 2-2.
Yes, sir.
That's reasonable. I'll be shocked if we are 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
I will be very, very happy and excited if we are 4-0.
That'd be nice.
Because 4-0 would put us back in the playoff picture.
That'd be real nice, man.
2-2, we're out of the playoffs. 3-1, there's a little hope. 4-0 puts us back in that position. So to get a win in Denver, it's going to be tough. There's a lot of people that talk about the elevation, right? You're going into the mountains and all that stuff, and very doable. Your body won't adapt by the time they get there on Saturday night.
Have you played up there before?
Yeah, I played up there before.
It is not fun.
It's definitely real. It's definitely real. You just get a little more winded than you normally would.
The last time I ever played there, I forget what year it was, but Eagles, we went to Denver and we got our asses whooped. Like ran the score up on us like in high school. Whooped. Yeah. So
I was in Kansas City.
Not fond memories in Denver.
I was in Kansas City, so we had to play there twice a year. So and that's when we start beating them too. So it was pretty good. I got some good memories. Okay. That's the first time I cursed in the NFL football game. It's at Denver. Because I didn't curse when we played.
Yeah. What made you curse, man? You never did.
I know. So now a curse word or two will slip out. I need to get saved again. I'm just joking. But so what happened is that Jeremy breaks off a long touchdown run. Mm-hmm. And TJ Ward, you remember TJ Ward, the safety?
Yeah.
The 2-foot tall safety, right? Right. So TJ Ward gives Jeremy a cheap shot in the back in the end zone, and like I'm running down there. Right at the end, like toward the end of the game, they were mad they were losing, right? And then we were talking cash to them too, so we were beating them, and they were like that was the year that they won the Super Bowl. Actually, it was the year because we was the only team that could beat them that year. The year they beat the Carolina Panthers in the Super Bowl.
Oh shoot!
So
okay,
we were better than them.
When Peyton was that the year Peyton was there?
Yeah, so we beat them.
Okay.
That was late in the season too, and so with TJ Ward, like cheap shots, Jeremy gets a flag. And I got in his face, and he's like, I pushed him off me, and I was like, dude, like, what are you doing? You an ankle biter. Don't you come up and try to hit people in their toes. Like, there ain't nothing tough about you. Like, what are you talking about? Nobody you a pussy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he's like, oh. And I was like, man, you a bitch.
Oh my God.
So as soon as that happened, like I'm hot, I go to the sideline. Everybody come over there like, Avant just cursed somebody out. The whole team, it seemed like the game was in slow motion. It reverberated on the sideline. Coach Reed's like, man, you all right? You okay?
You probably would you go pray after.
He's like, man, you my boy. I remember you cursed dude out for it. That's the first time I've ever heard you.
Oh man, that's too funny.
He made me so mad because you remember how low he used to tackle and then be getting up all big and so I'm like, man, stop it, man. You over there untying people's shoes. Stop.
I think I'd have been more mad about being called an ankle bite.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah. So
you. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the low tackling anymore, especially now.
The guys got to tackle low now because they get fined. So I get it. But back in when we played, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to unless it was doggone, a big old dude, Derrick Henry running this. You better go low.
Yeah,
you got to go low to hit him. You got to. But you shouldn't be ankle biting Jeremy Macklin. Like there ain't no way. So
if it's Derrick Henry, I'm hitting, what do they call it? His metacarpals, his foot bones.
Yeah, you talking about that in the foot ones, the one in the
Unless he don't see me. If he don't see me, I'll try to try him. All right, we get off topic. All right, so back on. So yeah, so you're saying if we're 4-0 over this next 4-game stretch, that's a perfect world. If we're 2-2,
we still out of the playoffs. Yeah, that's what we.
You think?
Yeah, we ought to put. We're 3-6 right now.
Yeah.
We do that. We're what, 5-8? Like,
yeah.
there has to be a point where we win some games, and what I'm saying is that reasonable is 2-2 because we're not a good football team. We're not.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets and the Giants are our best 2 opportunities.
Yeah.
We can beat the Saints. Denver's going to be a tough game. Can we beat them? Depending on which Denver show up. If the Denver showed up like they just showed up this past week.
I find it interesting too, like coaching. You got Fangio. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fangio and for the Saints. Why am I blanking on Sean Payton, right? Yeah. Veteran head coaches. Very good X's and O's and creativity and Fangio defensively and offensively with Payton, and then you got 2 basically rookie head coaches. So it's gonna be interesting to see like the matching of wits in those 4 games and how how the Eagles game plan and how teams game plan against us. So I'll definitely be keeping track of that and keeping an eye on that. But I agree with you. I think if we're, most likely it'll end up a 2-2. We could probably steal one in New Orleans just because of their injury situation at quarterback. I think Denver's going to be very, very tough.
Yeah, if we can beat Denver, it'll be a lot of momentum. If we can beat Denver at home, which it should be a good. Well, you never know what the Eagles do, but us playing the Chargers like we did at home, and they're number 1 in their division. It should be a good game in Denver, especially if we're running the ball like we just did. It should be, hopefully we're close in the game, so we got to start winning some of these close games. So does this team have an identity now, or that's what you would?
Yeah, I'd have to see it for more than one game. I think what we saw last week, especially offensively, should be the identity moving forward. I don't think they had one up until that game. I think they were trying so much, like you said, trying so many different things, and they figured out, okay, we kind of know what's in our wheelhouse right now. And so I think we'll see a little bit more. If we see more of that game 2, I think that's the identity of this team.
Yeah.
Run the ball, multiple times from different types of looks, different schemes, running the ball, and then take your chances throwing the ball over the middle. I think defensively, we still don't have an identity. We're still trying to find. I think they're still trying to find themselves defensively.
Offensively, I think this is your only identity that gives you success.
Yeah.
Defensively, we still trying to figure it out. I was hoping that we would ride the momentum of the Detroit game. They did produce a few more pressures, but unlike Jared Goff and receivers that we don't know, that Khalif Raymond and 17 other dudes that we've never heard of, right? They got some studs in Charger land, and you got a young rising quarterback. You got to start pressing people. You got to start getting in their face, right? That's what I want to see. And that's what the defense, ladies and gentlemen, is not passive. Mm-mm. Our coach has been passive this whole year, and the team has been passive. There's nothing passive about defense. There's zero about it. The best defenses I've ever played, they may not have been the most talented defenses, but the thing you left out with bruises, you left out respecting them, you left out knowing that they weren't going to make a mistake.
Yep.
most of the time, those defenses, they only did 3 or 4 things.
You're right.
You know, they did them well. They did the stuff that the things that they put out there they did them very well. But they touched people. They touched them. And we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to explain what I mean by when I say they touched people a little bit later. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so here we go. Last one. So we kind of talked about that, but you know, right now as it stands, we're only 1 game out of the playoff. But does that really matter?
Stop it right now. If you think you're looking at a playoff team, you lost your damn mind.
Say it ain't so.
I'm not saying. I'm talking about as we stand right now. This team is not a playoff team, and they're adding teams into the playoffs and all that stuff. That's why, because if it was the original, where you got the division winners, you got 2 wild cards, we wouldn't be there. Now we got the extra one, right? We got opportunity, right?
We got a chance. You're saying there's a chance.
So what I'm saying is that this team, as of right now, is not a playoff team. However, being 1 game out is a good thing going into more winnable games.
Yeah.
So therefore, in these winnable games, 3-1 puts you in the discussion. 4-0, you're definitely in the discussion. Hopefully, we can get there. We'll see.
We'll see. We just gotta get better on defense.
Get better on offense too.
As a defensive minded person, I'll take that game plan last week all day.
Because you got the energy now, man. You know the Eagles were 8 for 12 on 3rd down.
Were they?
Yeah, Jalen was running. They were always in 3rd and short. They were the entire game. They were in 3rd and short. They didn't have many 3rd and longs, right? So most of the game they were in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5 the entire game because they were running the ball effectively. And then 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 is a running quarterback's like dreamland.
That's it.
And it's the worst thing you can have for a defense coordinator because you want to fire him up, but you're like, man, if he makes one of these dudes miss, it's going to be a 30-yard game. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
And 3rd and short, you got to play man. You got to play some type of single high because it's 3rd and short.
It's 3rd and short, and that's the worst thing you can play versus a guy that's going to spit at him. So there's some positive, ladies and gentlemen. Like you said earlier, like to Jalen, us playing a game plan like this is that the quarterback is going to run on a lot of these 3rd and shorts, which it's kind of indefensible. It's only a few linebackers in this league that they can put a spy on him and they make the play. It's only a few. It's not many. You know. Yeah. Can't play 22 man. You really can't play man. You got to play some type of zone pressure and hope you fool them.
Yeah, that's it. 3rd and short.
Yeah. So
just continue with the game plan from last week, man. I like that. Let's do it. We just gotta get better on defense, man.
Some of these audience questions.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Chris, this is from Chris E. All right, he said, "Can you guys talk about the Tampa Two defense and why we have such little success using it?"
All right, Q, I'm going to let you take this one. Now, I'm going to say this from this perspective. When I say it touching before I give it to Q, no matter what defense you play, whether it's zone or it's man, you play it hard, meaning that you touch people. The best defenses in the National Football League, they're always touching you, meaning New England Patriots, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they were great at Tampa 2. They always rerouted the defender. I mean, the offense. Receivers running down the field. They didn't run down the field free. Nobody's touching them. They're always being chucked, being slowed down, all of those things. Everybody is touching somebody on a defense. That's good defense. Our defense lets guys run scot-free in cover 2, meaning the cornerbacks do not touch anybody at all. That's the worst thing that can happen in a cover 2 defense because you get so much speed on the safety too fast.
Yep.
And now he has to choose because we are not being taught to reroute. We're just playing vanilla. Defense is supposed to feel the defense. And even in zone, they should be chucking you. I used to hate playing the New England Patriots. Hated playing them. Hated playing them Belichick's defense. Hate it. Because I'm going to get chipped by if I'm at slot and I'm in close to the line of scrimmage, the defensive end is going to touch me. The linebacker is going to touch me. The safety is going to hit me when I catch it. It's be like, dude, can y'all just they would give up the flat just so they can just chuck people. Like, all right, keep throwing to the flat. When you get 5 yards here and there, we're gonna bat down 2 of them. Am I lying?
You're not lying at all.
But they're gonna make sure they anything down the field that can beat you, they're gonna touch you. If you give it, they'll give up a flat every now and again because you can't chuck people and get to the flat quick enough sometimes. Mm-hmm. But that's good defense to me. And you could talk about Tampa 2 and why it was made good and all that stuff.
I love the Tampa 2 defense. I think the biggest reason why is that it allows the defense to kind of dictate what the offense is allowed to do by multiple things, by, like you said, chucking and jamming receivers off the ball. If you're getting into your hook drop, which is the linebackers dropping on the hash marks, as you're doing that, you're getting a hand on a slide or a split out tight end. So you're affecting the entire offensive timing and route running ability as you're getting into your area. And then on top of that, it cuts loose the need for, in the secondary, it cuts loose the need for reading routes. You get to your spot and then you just watch the quarterback and you play from there, right? If I'm a deep half safety, all I got to do is make sure I'm on my landmark, which is usually either on the numbers or somewhere between the numbers and the hash, about 10 to 12 yards. I'll make sure that I'm deep and I'm watching a quarterback. If I'm a linebacker and I'm running the middle, I'm opening up to whatever the speed side is. Let's say you got 3 receivers to the left. I'm opening up to the left and I'm just running the middle. I don't have any responsibility other than just running and making sure that receiver does not come across my face. Yeah. If I'm a corner, all I have to do is jam and I don't have to sink beyond maybe 10 yards unless I have a corner route. And if I'm a D lineman, I get to just get after the quarterback. Like, especially third down, I'm just coming off, pinning my ears back and getting after the quarterback. So to me, I think that the Tampa 2 is the best type of defense because it allows the defense to just run and hit. It allows that line to just get off the ball and get after the quarterback. It allows the cornerbacks to finally get a chance to kind of dictate and beat up those receivers. It allows the safeties to just do what they're able to do, just get deep, watch the quarterback and make plays. And so it's a defense that's designed on time, like disrupting the timing and allowing the defense to play fast and fly around to the football. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite defense. And then I think the reason why, and Jason is 100%, the reason why we're not that good at it is we don't do any of those things well. We don't jam on the line.
The cornerbacks don't even touch people half the time in that cover. Like, you can't play Tampa 2. That's not Tampa 2 defense.
Yeah, no,
it's not.
Linebackers don't get to their drops. Yeah, I've noticed that the Eagles are running. We call. I don't know if you probably remember our defense. We call freeze. Do you remember freeze?
Freeze was 4, wasn't it?
We had 3. So we usually ran our nickel down the middle of the field instead of a middle linebacker. So the Eagles are running a similar version of that. That's why we see Rod a lot of times in the middle of the field when it looks like there's three deep safeties. Mm-hmm. It's a version of freeze. So all they're doing is they got Rod in the middle, and instead of having the middle linebacker running,
they have the more athletic player doing it.
Exactly. Rod's already there. And so I think the biggest reason why we don't have success is what you said. We're not affecting the routes, and our linebackers are not getting to their drops, and they're not reading the quarterback.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah. When we played the Bears, because the Bears were the best at cover 2 during our time, we played them. It would be a challenge to get to the 12-yard depth, right? Because you had to get behind Briggs, or who was the nickel that they had at that time? It was
Manning. I remember Manning.
Georgia. No, the kid from Georgia. Manning was one at one time too. But it was a kid from Georgia too. Dang, I can't remember his name right now. But anyhow, it'd be hard to get to your depth because they would hold you. Like they would, like it was hard. Like, and by the time you got there, Urlacher is 6'4" and he's standing at 10 yards. Like he like, okay, so you got to come back down through me, or you got to go over top of me, and over top of me is pretty tough. So it was hard to get to play when people are playing defense right. It's not easy. It's not easy to get there. Yeah, that's why we're not having too much success with it. Javon from Cincinnati. Would Jalen Hurts given a new head coach this offseason be allowed to play to his strengths and have an offense built for him? And should all 3 first-round draft picks be used on defense this upcoming year?
Oh,
I think this is kind of just read wrong, I guess.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
You go ahead. I'll let you
tackle Jalen has to show that he has that he has to like I said, the only way Jalen can salvage this from the fans being in the uproar, the organization being able to justify, and we know that our management hears the fans. Mm-hmm. We know that the management hears the fans and likes to acquiesce and please our fans. The only way Jalen Hurts can win back this city is to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he has to play well.
Yeah.
So before we can ever get to an off season of having a head coach and building around him and all this stuff, first of all, that should happen this year, because it's clear to see that this young kid is going to need the protection of a run game. And for some reason, we took it away from him for half the dang games this year, more than half, 75% of the games this year.
Yeah.
But the only way that he can win back the fans and the city at this point is to go on a run of him playing well and making it to the playoffs. Otherwise, he won't get another shot this offseason.
It's crazy. Do you think that they move him if that does happen? Or do you think that they bring in a veteran?
I don't know. I don't know if they move him. It all depends on what happens. Are they going after a quarterback that's in the draft? If they're going after a drafted quarterback, there's no purpose in moving him. If they're going after a veteran quarterback, there may be incentive to move him because he is a valuable asset, because he's going to be a top backup, because he's keeping us in football games. And if you play to his strengths, you got a chance to win the games. Most of these games that they're running the ball in, or besides, 2 games this year, they've been in these ball games. Besides Dallas and besides the Raiders, they've been in every ball game. Against Tampa, they were in the game. Against the Chiefs, they were in the game. All these guys they've been in the game with. So somebody's going to look at that and say, "There's value in that," right? Yeah. It's for our backup to be able to keep us in games and possibly win games once he matures. So I don't think that he's a finished product yet at all. But I don't think that this city has the patience to deal with that for a long time. Don't have the patience to wait on him. So can he be moved if they are going after Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson or another quarterback that has, history? If not, them drafting a quarterback and moving him, I don't see the point of that, because he's so low when it comes to salary. You keep him the entire time until it's time to move him.
Yeah. So frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, to all the fans that are thinking, I'm just like, did you watch Jordan Love this weekend?
I did get a chance to see Jordan Love sit back and sit behind Aaron Rodgers and come out and play.
He to me, he didn't look very good. Sam Darnold doesn't look very good. Like,
yeah,
we just got to be very careful what we're wishing for. All right. He's not been perfect yet, but it could be a lot worse than Hurts. All right. And then go ahead. finishes.
Hurst is the beneficiary of playing time. He's getting better. Mm-hmm. I must say that. Now, listen, I know I'm on him, and most of the city's on him. He is getting better.
Yeah. I don't think you're on him. I don't think you're on him though. I think you're being fair in your assessment.
Yeah. There's times this past game where he did the play to Devontae Smith. He did step up in the pocket and make that throw. Was it 2 out of 7? Yeah, but against Dallas, it was 0 out of 11.
True.
It's better. You know what I mean? He's getting better. You know, he is. He's getting better, and I think the offense, you know, placating toward the run is helping him as well. So, but unfortunately, this city doesn't have the patience for that experiments.
Yeah.
So he has this year to make it to the playoffs. If he doesn't make it to the playoffs, and even if he does make the playoffs, he has to play well. Yeah. If he plays well, he may be able to win over the city, win back the city, win back the organization. If not, they're not going to give him another chance. But I don't believe in drafting quarterbacks unless you know.
Really?
Man, unless you know. Just think about how many drafted quarterbacks actually hit.
Yeah,
my God, it's like throwing a fade.
You're right.
Throwing a fade, and the people are laughing probably. They're like, what does that mean? Throwing a fade ball is probably the most unlikely play to be completed that you're throwing in the passing tree. The stat of it being completed is like 7 to 10% of the time.
Damn.
So, and what I'm saying is, it's probably even less than that. Just think about all the drafted quarterbacks. Just think about all the guys in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, there's only 32 of them starting.
Yeah, these dudes are failing at a miserable rate, but they can't get Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers and Drew. This group of quarterbacks have played longer than any group of quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Because nobody behind them can challenge.
Mm-hmm. You're right. But every GM, they're trying their damnedest to find that guy.
Right? Yeah. My brother, it is always a pleasure to do this show with you. I'm so excited to see what the Birds do this week in Denver. Playing a little bit late this week because we're going out to the West, but I'm excited to see that. And I want to say thank you, man. I always have a ball with you doing this show, hear your perspective, all those things. To all the fans that are tuning in, thank you guys again for making the Q&A show a success. Continue to submit your questions to insidethebirds@gmail.com. Also, check us out on Inside the Birds YouTube channel. This is the Q&A show. Thank you to Josh and to Jeff and to Adam, Hunter. Everyone's responsible Inside the Birds. Jason Avant signing out. Give Q the last word.
Yeah, man. As always, a lot of fun. I always have a good time, and appreciate all the fans tuning in. And we're starting to get a lot of people, a lot of positive, or we're continuing to get a lot of positive feedback, and so it's always fun, man. I enjoy it. So here's the next week.